Hey there, it's Marley Majcher. Before we dig in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell because you definitely don't want to miss another glorious disaster here on Every Day's a Train Wreck. Because missing an episode, now that would be a train wreck. Let's get to it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Day's a Train Wreck. I'm your host, Marley Majcher, and I'm doing a solo one today, and it's kind of appropriate because today is going to be all about fun tips to celebrate your mom. I'm a mom of three, love Mother's Day when I'm not doing kind of all the typical stuff that everybody else is doing, like going to a jam-packed restaurant full of like screaming kids and overpriced food. So I thought I would share some of my tips for having a great Mother's Day and some terrific ideas without just like making the overpriced reservation. So, are you with me? Let's jump in. So let's face it, because costs are up and people are looking for ways to cut back, no question. And I think sometimes the most fun is when you can do things that are homemade and with tons of love and attention instead of just buying something, right? So let's say that you want to entertain at home. Now, food and drinks, there's definitely power and savings in numbers. So I say make it a potluck if you've got siblings or other cousins or just other like families in the neighborhood that you want to celebrate with. To me, the simplest thing is you make it a potluck because then everybody shares the load and nobody kind of gets stuck with the whole thing. And when I talk about potlucks, I don't just think of like food and drinks, but you can even, if you've got a lot of people that are doing this, it can be potluck like bringing ice. It doesn't have to be the full, like you bring an hors d'oeuvre, you bring, an entree, something like that. But I do think it's very important to communicate who is bringing what, because otherwise you can get really lopsided. Like everybody's bringing all these sweets, and then you're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing savory to eat. Now, love my sweets, but what can I say? You want to balance it out. So the other thing is you want to make food fun. Now, have a pizza making party, have a taco bar or a DIY Sunday bar. Like different guests can bring all the different components for it. And there, let's face it, in the days of Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram, there are such fun, amazing food things you can do. And I would say head on over to your favorite social media channel and just start pulling some ideas and saving them that you think are really great. I always do that when I'm looking for a theme or like when my publicist says, hey, we're going to pitch XYZ, TV station, and we want to make sure that we give them fresh tips. So I'll just go through all the different social media stuff and pull ideas that I like and that just kind of spark my creativity. I don't edit too much. I just go, oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. And then I kind of come up with my own thing. So you might start searching like recipes for taco bars or something and then end up with, as I say, like the make your own pizza bar or even like make your own casseroles, something fun, like make your own nachos, all different personal nachos. There's so many ideas, but as I say, social media is full of them. And I got to say that I love Instagram, I love TikTok, all that. But when I'm doing research for things like this, I really have to say I go to Pinterest. So if you haven't checked out our Party Goddess Pinterest board, it's at the Party Goddess. And I highly recommend you do because I've got tons of stuff on there for Mother's Day. So let's say that you are going to do a potluck though. So you want to encourage everybody to take one component of the traditional meal. So like one for appetizers, as they say, one for entree, one for sides, one for cocktails, one for desserts, or multiples if you've got lots of people. Now, if you want to go out, there are some things you can do. You can like look for special deals or celebrations. I'm kind of a big one that, Mother's Day is always in the US on a Sunday. And why not do it like a Saturday for brunch or kind of at an off time? When I started out in the restaurant business, it was like Mother's Day was just total chaos. It's a little better at night, but not too much better. So why not celebrate like at an off time? It can be, I think, just as fun. And then the wait staff and everything else, they're not just totally stressed out. So another option is to just totally make it a dessert outing, and you can still have fun hitting the town, but the check will be a lot lower. So order all kinds of different fabulous desserts, maybe even do it for brunch and just, get together and have mimosas and all kinds of great different drinks and celebrate. And by the way, it doesn't have to be like moms and kids. You can use any of these ideas to just have like a group of moms going out and celebrating Mother's Day. Sometimes that can be a little more fun than having all the pressure. All right, number 2, let's talk about decor. So I love repurposing decor. And this is basically where you can take stuff that you've already got that's mixed and matched. And I love to do this, of course, with platters and serving pieces. One of my big things is never use. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, make sure you watch it on YouTube, because you're going to see my little hand visuals making the restaurant tongs and stuff that are just sloppy. And it's okay to be mismatched, but what is not okay to be is to have those horrendous like plastic tops and trays and stuff from the grocery store, especially if they still have a price tag or like a barcode. Just take it out and put it onto some nice platter, and even go outside and get like some kind of edible leaf or flower or something, so that you're sort of tricking it out and it doesn't just look like, oh, hi, just came from the store with this. But another thing is, I'm all about mixed glasses. I think mixed plates, especially if it's something that's not like a sit-down lunch or sit-down dinner. You can still do it then, as long as the dishware and flatware is coordinated. But I also think it's great to do, like if you're doing a dessert bar, you're doing something later, to have individual mix-matched dessert plates. They shouldn't be like one clunky modern dessert plate and then like something fine china, but they can all be different mismatched china, and you can get that stuff from the Goodwill, especially because usually when there's like one of something, it's much better. But I just love me a good old fashioned tea party. And don't forget about bringing the outside in. I am a huge one. Now, granted, I live in Southern California. I'm very lucky. We have, as I'm taping this, I'm looking outside the window, and we've got banana trees and all kinds of fabulous foliage, and lemon trees and orange trees. And so it's very easy for me to go outside. But listen, even if you're in New York, you can still go outside and you can still get something from the park, scrub it up, or go to Trader Joe's or whatever your local market is and clip some fresh mint, or get one of those pots of herbs, and then use that as garnish, or use that as your centerpieces, and then have everybody take them home. It's kind of fun. But the other thing is, you can also use even like dried flowers, or sometimes when we use dried flowers, like, they start looking kind of scrappy after a while. So don't be afraid to take that spray paint bottle and then really have some fun. Take the spray paint bottle and some spray adhesive, not a little glitter. I'm sorry, but a very purposeful resprayed dried flowers and cool stuff goes a long way. Don't forget about thrifting in general. We kind of talked about that as far as the mismatched plates and stuff. But Goodwill, Salvation Army, estate sales love this consignment, typically like local and budget friendly. And one of the things that I want to encourage you guys to do is not necessarily shop for like, okay, today I'm going to go out shopping for Mother's Day dishes or something. But if you're that kind of person like I am, I love estate sales and stuff, is kind of always keep your eyes open. And one of the things I always keep my eyes open for are good serving pieces, like tongs that, as I say, don't look industrial, or like little spoons or little forks or little cheese knives. You can never have too many of those things. I mean, I cannot tell you how many Thanksgivings I've had where I'm like, oh my God, I know I have like decent little spoons or something for sauces. You always need more. So if you're out and you see them somewhere, even if they're only 3, not like, a perfectly matched set of 4 or 8, that's okay. Just get them and use them. They look so much better, and you'll be so glad you did. And then you're not going to be scrambling like some people might be for this for Mother's Day. So I'm also a big one for upcycling in general. Like if you do any kind of buffet, or you're going to have platters out, is why not elevate things like on risers? And to do that, you don't have to just get a pedestal, right? If you go to Goodwill and you're looking around, you're like, oh my God, I don't see any like cake pedestals. Doesn't matter. Just get a regular like glass plate. Sometimes they have those like quote crystal-ish looking ones, and then get a glass and turn it upside down, like a bucket glass, and use your good old hot glue gun and put your plate and glue it on top of that glass. And guess what? You just made your own pedestal. Now, this week, I'm doing a bunch of different TV segments all on Mother's Day. So if you're listening to this podcast, and by the way, you can also use these tips for a ton of other things. I mean, you can use them for like a Valentine's Day party, whatever. So take a look at the press page on thepartygoddess.com, because we will have all of the TV clips, like we're doing, I think, CBS and KTLA and Fox, like 3 Mother's Day segments. So there'll be some great visuals you can poach. So this comes out first, but take a look at that because that'll be fun. Now, party favors. I think party favors are still really fun, and they can also double as decor. So again, we talked about like, mint and basil. I love that kind of stuff because it's not very expensive. And then what I can do is, yes, I can use it as a centerpiece, or quite frankly, often I just take it and then I plant it in the garden afterwards. Now, one thing we've done is taken like soup cans, and you can create fun labels like for your mom's favorite quotes. Or I've even done this actually as one of my favorite parties is we did a giant painter's tarp, and we sewed like all these different huge fabric hearts and stuff. And we had spray paint cans as kind of decor and flowers as part of the decor. And then we had all these fun sayings and quotes wrapped around the spray paint cans. The theme was kind of like paint your own dreams, or like, it's like manifest your own dreams. But that can be a really good idea for a Mother's Day thing. So don't forget about really upcycling, like upcycling out of the trash, where you take empty cans and then, as I say, create on Canva like little wraparound things that you can print in color, and then shove your plants in those, and those will double as vases. Now, I do want to caution you, be really, really careful, because when you open an aluminum can of any kind, it's usually got really sharp edges. So be careful and don't let little paws in there helping you with that one, but gotta say it's fun. Another one that I really love to use is I love Volupsa candles. And, they're the ones that are in those beautiful tins that are just, they almost look like Moroccan decor kind of thing, patterns, I guess. And so what we do then is, you have these beautiful, expensive candles, and then like afterwards you have the tins. So I will put some water in the tin with the remaining wax once the candle is almost done, put it in the freezer. That way, I don't know if you guys know that trick. Once you put a little bit of water in the bottom and it's frozen, it's so easy to pop the wax out, and then use those tins as different really pretty little vases, or just even really pretty, put another votive candle in them or something. But we always get a lot of comments when we use those kind of repurposed tins. Do the same thing with vases. So let's see. Next, let's talk about other fun and free stuff. I think it's really great if you host like an old-fashioned game night. Again, what could be more free than pulling out like Scrabble or Trivial Pursuit? If my kids are listening, I would actually love this, is to play Trivial Pursuit or some of these fun board games that I used to play as a kid. And regarding Mother's Day and a lot of these different, even if it's like a mom's birthday, or my mom used to say this and I never understood when I was younger, but she told me, you will understand this later. And boy, do I agree. Which is that all a mother wants on Mother's Day is not to have her kids fighting. Okay, so please, if you're a mom, send this episode to your kids. I don't care how grown up they are. And even if they're 5 years old, play it in the background, so that all moms want is like a day where kids are not fighting. And I remember one of my boys who shall remain nameless, I guess there's a 50-50 chance, but I don't know if it was Christmas Eve or it was Mother's Day or something, and he just like refused to shave his beard, and he knew that he just like looked really scruffy. And I was like, of all days, like, couldn't you just show up with like this clean face and collared shirt that I love? So small things like that. make a big difference for Mother's Day and for Father's Day. So back to the games. Pictionary, I love bingo. I love, even if you just play cards, I think it's so fun. Any kind of board games. You can also have several stations too. And you can pick up different games. If you're going to have a bunch, Mother's Day with a bunch of different families, like have other families bring their favorite board games and decide. And I think it can just be like at the end of the day, even charades is super great. Thank God we have AI too, because guess what? I use AI for so many things, especially when I get stuck. So one of the things you could do is you could take a transcript of this. Now this is like the super hack. Take a transcript of this from YouTube and just say, because all of these episodes end up on our YouTube channel. So this will end up on our Party Goddess YouTube channel. And then everything for this podcast goes on the Prophet Goddess YouTube channel. You can take a transcript of this and say, hey, here's a transcript from a podcast, Every Day's a Train Wreck, that I love so much. Can you riff off of these ideas or give me some more ideas for centerpieces? And just let it rip and see what ChatGPT comes up with. I bet you will have a great time. So definitely try that. Now, the other thing is that it's always fun to have prizes. And I think it's great. I think, Starbucks gift certificates, that's awesome. But I always love to shop local and support local businesses. So for the prizes, I think it's really fun if you, no matter what it is, even if it's just like, candy and lottery tickets or something that you get from some local place, just trick it out with a little cellophane and a cool ribbon, and everybody will have a lot more fun. At least I will, because I'm competitive and win their rewards. Now, if you've got little kids, and even if you've just got bigger kids and you just want to have fun, don't forget we're in the days of social media where everything is a post. And I think if you're entertaining at home, you cannot go wrong with having some kind of, fun social media wall and backdrop and even fun props just to take photos with the kids. But the other thing is take it one step further and have little girls dress up and have hats and gloves and all that stuff, and just have a ball with photos and sharing and tagging if that's appropriate. Obviously, if they're, really little, you might not want to do that. But I think there's just something fun about having props. I was just at a fire show, if you can believe it, in Indianapolis, and I just got back yesterday, and they had something so crazy. So I'd never been to a fire convention, but as you guys know, I think I'm developing these products to prevent the spread of wildfire, and I'll be able to talk more and more about that. But I was in Indianapolis, and I guess, I didn't even realize this, but firemen are known for their handlebar mustaches. Again, why? I guess it's because they can't really have like full beards and stuff because of their gear, their fire gear, so they can have handlebar mustaches. So there were all these different fun social media stations kind of where you could take like handlebar mustaches of all different kinds and put them on, and people had a great time. And then they also had a Polaroid station where all the different firemen could enter to be like to have the best handlebar mustache, right? So there can just be really fun things like that think about like what the moms in the group or the mom would love, and I don't know, have a good time with it. Have art, have anything that you think is going to be, hey, this is really, a cool idea, almost like a step and repeat, but at Mother's Day. Now, your local thrift store, we're going to go back to that again, is great to find outfits, to find dress up stuff. It's just great to have pictures and share them in an album. And then I think everybody just feels fun it feels like they're having fun when they're laughing, and it's a really good time. So try to make, whether it's your mom or the special person in your life who's always been like a mom to you, or even grandmothers, why not think of all the amazing things that they love, right? No matter how corny, and really celebrate that. Like for Mother's Day, I remember one year, because my kids know I have a sweet tooth and I absolutely love like cinnamon rolls. I love cinnamon rolls, cappuccinos, it's fun. And they got me all different cinnamon rolls, coffee cake, just everything that was my favorite. And it was kind of like a more is more moment. So if that your mom loves, I don't know, to get her nails done or loves doing her nails. Get all kinds of fun nail art. Get her a bunch of different gift certificates for manicures, or get her, put together the big basket of fun stuff of, hand masks and just stuff that really play into what it is she loves. And big rule, don't fight. Next rule, don't ask her necessarily. Well, I guess you can ask her what she wants to do. Some moms would probably be upset. I'd be like, oh, please just handle it. You know what I like. And I think there's a really great part about just not having to take care of something for a day. So if you're a dad or, you're a grown-up kid and you can just get your brothers and sisters or get everybody ready for the day, so your mom doesn't have to spend that time being like, okay, everybody, let's get ready for church. Let's get, to me, that's heaven on earth when I don't have to ask for things and it's just kind of already handled, or I don't have to be like, come on, it's time to go. And everybody fighting. And then if you're a kid or teenager listening to this, I love beautiful cards. I think that's amazing. But I have to tell you, from when they could draw, I think my kids have always been really big on like hand drawing cards or writing them. And I'll say my middle son sometimes just kind of pulls out the piece of printer paper. But I will tell you, does make a big effort. And he writes very nice things to me. And those cards are always the ones that I keep. So don't underestimate having a little bit of creative flair and really leaning into all those things that your mom or the mom in your life or your grandmother loves. So on that note, I hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you like this. Most importantly, tell a friend. Most importantly, share it with like all kinds of other people who you think like, maybe they need a little pick-me-up. Maybe they need a few new ideas for Mother's Day. And again, you can always check out our Instagram channel at The Party Goddess for some fun ideas. You can check out YouTube and watch our clips that we'll be posting this week as we go. And most importantly, we've all had one at some point in life. God bless it. Happy Mother's Day to my mom in heaven. You're the best. And yeah, just honored to be here with you and honored to share a little bit of my Mother's Day fun tips. Okay. All right, everybody. Until next time, that's a wrap. This is Marley Majcher. Every day's a train wreck. Have a good one, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.